The freight train has left the building. We know that's what Rosie Rios has said, but I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Everybody's saying there's a big switch being flipped in July, but I'm going to show you exactly what's happening. My name is Coach JV, and I work to make the complex simple. I want to say thank you from my family's heart to yours for all the kind messages, and also want to give you some information. Number one is I will never proactively DM you. Those are all scammers. We do not have an investment platform. I will never ask you to send me money. We are licensed insurance agents. We have a Warrior Education Academy, and we teach people the infinity banking concept. So if you want to set up a free consultation, in the description down below, or join our Warrior Academy, in the description down below. We will never ask you to send us money. There'll be a proper insurance contract, and you'll be working with one of my agents. So be very careful with that stuff. I hate that I have to do this on these videos, but I think it's very important to inform my friends of what's happening. So use discernment. If you're following anybody in the financial space, you're going to get a lot of fake followers, a lot of people following you, asking you to send them money. Okay, make sure you verify. Okay, so let's jump right in. Everything's in the description down below. Let's dive right into this video. I usually do that on the back end of the video or my TikToks, but I wanted to share that with people because as we go into the bull run in 2024, the scammers, well, they're out like crazy right now. Use discernment, guys. There is no get rich quick. It does not exist. So I'm going to show you FDI, which is foreign direct investments. So first I'm going to show you a quick video. Only 11, is that for real? Only 11 people watch this video. This is the type of stuff, guys. Everybody's distracted over here. And this is shaping the future through FDI, which is foreign direct investments, an outlook on potential for the Gulf region. I just want you to hear the verbiage on what this guy says. And then I'm going to show you the big thing that's going around FedNow services. I've been sharing with you guys that FedNow was a qualified direct deposit at Wells Fargo Bank. It's in their account addendas for a couple months now. But one thing I want to share with you guys is everybody feels like there's a switch that's going to be flipped in July. This systematic process of real-time payments is being built for a long time, guys. The switch happened a long time ago. Rosie Rios said you need a shock to the system. So I'm going to show you FedNow services. I'm going to show you the real-time payments, and then we're going to listen to somebody who was at the Federal Reserve and listen to her verbiage as well. So this is how I do my investments. I don't just go off of what some TikToker or YouTuber is saying, and I don't expect you to do that with me. I go deep into the infrastructure. I go deep into macroeconomics, and I make financial decisions based on what they're doing, not what they're saying. Okay. So we never know when the switch is actually going to be flipped, but we do know the system is being changed. Okay. So now I want to make this clear. This video I'm about to show you doesn't have anything to do with FedNow services or real-time payments. This has to do with foreign direct investments. ESG. Now you're going to see a big transition where companies to get funding are going to have to follow the ESG rules. They're going to have ESG scores, which is environmental, social, governance, which is the environment, gas, solar, wind, the equality things that you're happening, the battles back and forth. And as Larry Fink said, the CEO of BlackRock, he said you have to force behavior. So I just want you to hear the verbiage and pay attention.
Perhaps I could just underline what Ravi had said. The key word is transition.
Yes.
It's about accompanying these great oil and gas producers on this journey. I remember in 2015, the group chief executive of HSBC called me into his office and he said, Sherrod, what's this COP thing in Paris?
Ah.
And I said, well, it's actually rather important, Stuart.
Yeah.
It's about a change in the pace and pattern and direction of human economic development. And we, a great global bank, need to finance our oil and gas clients as they move on this journey. And we need to make money out of it, of course, but we must not leave any one of those clients behind.
Okay, the transition. So the reason why I'm showing you this is foreign direct investments. Gas moving over to, so like petrol moving over to gas, oil. They're transitioning. The financial system is transitioning. We're transitioning from industrial to technical. Okay. There's a massive switch happening, guys, in the payment system, in the actual infrastructure of business. And this is what everybody keeps talking about. So FedNow service, I want to give you a little bit of a deeper in look at this. So FedNow services, March 15, 2023. This is on the Federal Reserve's website. It talks about that they confirms readiness for July's launch, right? Everybody's like, oh, July is going to launch. And then on the front of it, they had the freight train leaving the building, launching late July. Get on board. Well, How many people are actually on board? Let's take a look. So everybody's saying that everything's switched over, but they're actually having trouble getting enough banks to connect and use it. I think they only have 300 banks on board. So this young lady right here, she used to work for the Federal Reserve, and I want you to listen to her verbiage around what's happening.
Your point about interoperability is an important one. I think it's an aspiration. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about, how do various payment schemes around the globe start to link up to do some of this, right? Because one thing would be for cross-border payment to be improved immeasurably through this. I'd love your thoughts there. If we could talk a little bit about not just interoperability in terms of a goal, but really the connectivity that needs to happen to broaden it enough so that the landscape of yeah, I'm going to use commercial payments, but certainly, as you know, there are all number of use cases too. What does it take to get there, and when might we get there, do you think?
When might we get there? It's going to be a guessing game. But you're totally right. If you went to any payment conference, even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when RTP was just starting off, like I remember going to Money 2020, like, okay, I'll age myself, a long time ago. The use case everyone talked about was cross-border. So when everyone's like, we need faster payments, we need instant payments, the US is behind. They were always talking about cross-border payments. It was about getting money to family or friends overseas. Obviously, baby steps. You can only do cross-border if you have domestic. So like you can just start with cross-border and we'll get there, right? There's already been work by RTP on I.
So there's a hint right there, guys, what the Ripple case was all about. America is big time behind on this, guys. The old industrial politics is all dying off. They're trying to hold on to this, and other countries were accelerating into real-time payments, on-demand liquidity, and America was way behind. There could be a reason why they initiated the case against Ripple.
IXB that they've kind of shared and they've been piloting. There's something that came out from the ECB in SEPA Instant. They're kind of looking at their leg of it if there was a cross-border transaction. So I do think we'll get to cross-border. I think that the different instant payment schemes across the different, across the world really will start interacting and start coming to kind of agreements on what this looks like. There's a lot that goes into it. There's technical, because at the end of the day, the payment's supposed to be me to you in 20 seconds or less. It's a little complicated to try to do that between like domestic and then cross-border and different systems having to settle on different times and hours. But it is doable. It obviously will mean certain regulations and rules change or they become specific to like.
There you go, guys. See, you got to know the game. Everybody's out there saying, oh, they're going to flip this and the QFS and all that stuff. Guys, it's an infrastructure. I worked in banking. In order to switch something like this, it's massive and it's expensive. And there's all kinds of moving parts behind the scenes. You're going from one system going up through the Federal Reserve, through the SWIFT system, old archaic system, to real-time payments moving really, 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 really fast. There's so much that has to happen behind the scenes. So everybody's getting their domestic set up, and then they'll end up figuring out how a way to connect it. You'll have a central bank digital currency that will run across the rails. And I believe that America is going to lose its power in regards to dominance of the dollar. And then you're going to have a bag of currencies that will regulate the value of currencies.
Like cross-border instant payments. We can't get there. Honestly, I don't think there's even value in getting there until we get a little closer to ubiquity here. So if we do it, but we only have 500 banks on the network, it doesn't really service the whole economy, right? It's not going to service the use case of people who want to get money home to their family. They're not on those, top banks. And so we have to get to like the 9,000. We have to get to all the banks here and then have that cross-border, model in place so that we can get money back and forth. So you asked me to guess a time frame. I will not. I had suggested 5 years to someone and they were like, what? It better be 3 years. I think it'll be 5 years, but it's.
I agree with her. Based on understanding banking, she worked at the Federal Reserve for a long time around FedNow. So this whole video, you can go watch this. The whole video breaks down FedNow services, the launch, ubiquity, intelligent routing, and then what's next.
Yeah.
So she basically breaks down, hey, listen, like people, let's go back to the top of this really quickly and show you guys. Everybody's like, oh, FedNow services is kicking in. It's going to switch everything. No, it's not. FedNow services basically doesn't even have enough banks connected to it right now. So it's just the start of a transition. That's what we're looking at. And across the world, cross-border payments, Bank of England. Okay. We go over here. Reserve Bank of India explores cross-border payments with digital rupee. We got yuan overtakes dollar to become the most used currency in China's cross-border payment transaction. Russia drafts law to use digital payments for cross-border payments. I mean, I could take you guys deep into this. The clearinghouse, RTP, right? And then you got, this is the company she works for, I think now, is Form 3. Okay. So I just want to show you guys that because there's so much FUD out there and everybody's like, trying to get likes and follows and clicks because they're saying they have the inside information when everything's going to be switched over. Family, I have the inside information. It's all being switched over. It's very easy to see the transition, and we're stuck in the Coliseum. We're drunk off the wine, and the Trojan horse has been coming in, but it's coming in slowly and methodically. I mean, I can break down the system. 2009, right? We had one of the biggest financial collapses in our history in America. And then we had the BRICS countries are created. Bitcoin is created in 2009. In 2012, Rosie Reese was told to reduce coin and cash usage, but she couldn't because of GDP growth. Because 2012, the Obama rescue plan increased the printing machine and turned on full blast. You can actually see the printing go up from 2012. They also created the FOMC, which is Future Oversight Committee, to regulate non-bank financial institutions because they knew they were going to lose control of the system. Then in 2020, we had a shock to the system, which changed all consumer behaviors. And by changing consumer behaviors, they got more people onto their apps. The whole world got shut down globally. We had reduction of cash usage and coin usage, slowing down the movement of cash, which was a massive shock to the system. We had supply chain issues. Russia invaded Ukraine, which immediately America tried to take them off the Swiss system, which made BRICS pissed, and they tried to brand together. Now they're creating their own cross-border system. We got SEC sues Ripple. We got the bank bail-in committees, which Jay Clayton is the one that initiated a case against Ripple in 2020. He leaves to consult for a cryptocurrency firm. And if you pull him up on ChatGPT and look at all the boards that he's on, almost all the boards he's on has something to do with our financial system. So in 2022, in January, he became part of the board for the bank bail-in committees. Okay, right when everything started to bail in, the Federal Reserve reaches out to JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, or Elizabeth Warren reaches out to Jamie Dimon, right? Jamie Dimon starts to monopolize the banks. First Republic. All our banks are over leveraged. We're at 120% debt to income ratio. The thing that will fix is the velocity of money. And they knew this was coming, guys. Just look at the printing machine, full blast. Okay. Interest rates were super low. You can't operate like that. We're now negative 120% debt to income ratio. We also had the inverted yield, the bonds inverted, right? Sucked a bunch of liquidity out of the banks and a bunch of liquidity out of the businesses. Interest rates are going up. Businesses are screwed, right? So they're going to let the system collapse, guys. Middle class is getting wiped out. Leverage source technology moving down to the working poor. The capital markets. What happens when people start getting the capital markets start to shake, guys? When companies start to lay people off, the capital markets are going to pull back, and most of your guys' 401ks are sitting in the capital markets. I've not met one wealthy mentor, not one wealthy mentor that uses a 401k. It's a tax code, guys. How many people have you met that are retiring and traveling the world on a 401k? Honestly, how many people have you met in your family? The system, you have to understand why they call it a bank and currency, because they bank up your money and they make it current. You bank it up, they make it current. The switch in your brain is you need to understand to use a bank and make that money current. Take your money and move it into your own bank and make it current and make it flow and make it multiply. So many of you that are in cryptocurrency, it is the most critical time as we go into next year that you have an exit plan. And as everybody's getting excited and coming into the top, you should be pulling profits and selling them your cryptocurrency and securing that. And once you secure it in something that you can leverage. And once you leverage it, put it into a cash generating asset. Don't buy Ferraris and Lamborghinis and mansions and shit you can't afford to impress people you don't like. Get the generational wealth building cycle, create freedom for your family, because when you learn how to allow money to free up your time, you'll be free the rest of your life. But anytime you trade time for money, you'll be trapped and indoctrinated into the slavery system called the just over broke system, which is a job. It's a transition you have to make in your mind. Everybody's telling you how to make money. Nobody's teaching you how to rewire the foundation to change the situation. Okay. So I just want to show you guys that because everybody's like, oh, there's all these riddlers and doing all this stuff. And yeah, the system is switching, but they only have like 300 banks on there, guys. They're struggling to get banks onto FedNow services. I think what's going to happen, in my opinion, and I don't have any insight. I'm just sharing just based on logical circuit, is that what's going to happen, there's going to be a shock to the system. The middle class is going to get wiped out. They're going to be at the working poor. And when you need to eat, they're going to send you your stimulus check on FedNow services, which you're going to set up your app, and you're going to be able to get direct deposits. So you'll have a FedNow services, and you'll have a fiat account. And then what they'll start doing is getting people used to FedNow services. And the more people that use it, the more people they'll have use case. You know, it's just all about use case. That's what it is. So Ripple's going to be here. XRP is going to be here. XLM is going to be here. FedNow services is going to be here. And in 10 years, you're all going to forget about all this drama. You are. You're all going to forget about it. And there's going to be a new group of wealthy people, and you're going to go right back into your life again. And you're going to get used to using cross-border payments. You're going to get used to using your app, just like we all complained about, you know, online banking, just like our parents complained about credit cards, just like we all complained about social media and that it was evil, it was going to change the world, and we're all addicted to social media. Think about that for just a moment. All the things we complained about and our parents complained about, we use. My pops used to say, oh, this technology. So my dad has an iPad. He has an iPhone. He has a laptop. And he was one of the people who's like, no, this. And he's on, you know, watching YouTube shorts now. I'm like, we resist it because we don't understand it. We resist it because we don't understand it. And if we don't understand it, we fear it. And if we fear something, we just speak up. We don't ask enough questions. And that's why we're in this position. I ask why about everything. I question everyone and everything. Not out of disrespect, just out of wanting to learn and know. Like, for example, some gentleman reached out to me. Actually, it's the sixth person that's reached out to me on Twitter and commented around my belief system in God. And they said, you should read the Quran. You're incorrect. And I said, okay. So I'm studying the Quran right now. I've studied the Book of Mormon. I've studied the Quran. I've studied, you know, the Bible. I've studied all kinds of different things. So why would I not take information in? There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I think it's pretty neat. I think the Book of Mormon is pretty cool too. I think the Bible is pretty cool. I like following the life of Jesus, just following his principles. That works for me. I just follow one commandment: love God with all my heart and love humanity like I love God. Pretty simple. That's what I do, and it works for me. And I meet all these cool people, and I get to learn. Now I'm learning about the Quran, and you know, I'm studying Mary Magdalene and Jesus. A lot of people haven't dove into Mary Magdalene. She's pretty powerful. Women are powerful. So yes, I do think very differently in regards to the fact that I'm open to learning. I'm open to growing. But what I'm not open to is being manipulated through information. And I'm not going to take things that people say to me on YouTube, TikTok, or any YouTubers and stuff and take it for face value. I'm going to dive into and do my own research. And that's what got me to this position. I asked you to question everything I'm saying as well. I ask you to question everything I'm saying as well. Prove me wrong, which will help you understand how to prove yourself right. And you'll start to develop discernment in what a gut feeling is. You will know what is right and what is wrong. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As I said in the description down below, you can get a free consultation with my Index Universal Life team. Make sure you'll be meeting with one of my teams. There's scammers out there, tons of scammers. You'll be meeting with my team. If you decide to move forward, you'll do an insurance contract. We do not have an investment platform. Don't send anybody money on Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp. I don't care if this ruins my videos. I'm going to say it on every video I can, because there's so many scammers out there, and I hate that they do this to my friends, okay? We also have our education academy, the Warrior Academy. We have over 6,000 coming up on 800 warriors worldwide get their shit together and rewire the foundation. So I'd love to see you on the inside. Warriors, rise, get your shit together.